Hello and welcome to Green Angle, where we examine environmental issues and proffer sustainable solutions. I am Esther Omopariola. Now, can you imagine growing crops like corn, potatoes, or even vegetables in used tires or even drums and plastics? Well, here's the story of Temitope Okunu, who is passionate about gardening, zero waste culture, and conservation.
Temitope Okunu, founder of FABE International Foundation and the current CEO of Eco Schools Nigeria, is passionate about children, community development, gardening, wildlife conservation and upcycling. In 2006, she contested and won the inaugural Miss Environment in Nigeria, earning her the title the Environment Queen, creating her a path towards pursuing and promoting a cleaner and healthier environment.
So in the garden, from the start of the garden, either you have a space or you don't have a space. So if you have a space, we look at your soil. So we do an environmental audit. How does this soil look? Is it fertile? Is it good? If it's not good, then we start composting. Then we use the compost materials to replenish the soil. And from there, we start using, and that's food waste. And that's recycling, composting is a form of recycling. So we use the food waste to grow our food and also to replenish the soil. So when you teach a child, do not waste. What is waste? How can you manage waste? So they learn things like recycling, they learn things like upcycling, they learn things like composting, they learn things like biogas and other forms of waste management. And then we train them practically. So that was what brought up the upcycled eco garden, because in the garden you can actually teach these things.
She volunteers her time, energy and finances to make societies live environmentally sustainable and has been empowered through her non-profit and volunteering experiences.
So the thinking of the children right now is that when they see something on the floor, be it PET bottle or tires, the first thing that comes to their mind is that, oh, that PET bottle can actually be turned into a planter, or it could be turned into a PET bottle ottoman, or it could be turned into a chandelier, or it could be turned into a bottle house. So when they see tires, they start thinking about tire tables, ottoman, tire planters, building a garden out of tires. That is what we're instilling in the children.
This Eco School garden at Immaculate High School, Maryland, is growing on concrete. Here, used tires, drums and plastics are upcycled for the purpose of growing crops like potatoes, carrots, corn and other vegetables. This, she says, can be tried at home.
You can grow yams in stacked up tires like this. As you can see, we are growing potatoes. And potatoes need depth to grow, right? Just like yams, so you can grow them.
So I can comfortably, but
I would love to call you when they're harvesting this, so you see it for yourself.
But for clarity's sake, once I've layered the bottom of this tire, I don't need to layer any other.
No, just the first layer.
The first layer, and then
and then you can stack up and then pour in your soil your rich soil.
Still on environmental sustainability, these are upcycled trash from plastics. Many have been empowered by her foundation with creative and innovative skills in developing and organizing projects.
This is another type of, another shape. This is from PET bottles as well. And you can see some, they don't have legs. No legs, because we use a carton at the bottom of those ones, so we can't attach this. This one we use wood, so we're able to attach the legs to it.
If you do not have space, so We now start planting in buckets, in reusable items, in tires, and then that way the children are seeing that, that we are changing their perspective, that we are changing their orientation, we are changing the way they think about waste. So we say something at FABE that waste is not a waste until it's completely wasted. We have also planted different plants strategically: onions, spring onions, pawpaw, neem, moringa, specifically because we want to use them not just for beautification or for the fact that we needed indigenous trees around, but also for fertilizer and pesticides. Yeah. So the fish pond as well, the water from the fish pond is also acts as a fertilizer for the plants. It helps them grow well. So that way we're not mismanaging any form of waste. Wood waste is well taken care of.
That reminds me, wood waste, I can see sawdust.
Yes,
so
sawdust,
why are we using sawdust in your garden?
Okay, so we are going on a holiday. It's Christmas soon, and many of our staffs and children will not be here to take care of the garden and all that. So it serves as a mulch, just to help us keep our soil fertile. And then when we come back, of course...
Sorry, a mulch?
A mulch.
Mulch. Oh, okay.
So mulch helps to keep your plant. Okay, if you have a plant, for example, you can mulch it with paper, you can mulch it with wood chips, you can mulch it with dry leaves. So this will just help you retain water in the soil for the plant for the period you'll be away, and also help to nourish your plant. So the sun doesn't take off all the old nutrient, nothing takes it off. So we just keep it like this till when we're ready to now start farming.
So underneath
again.
this
you have
is
soil.
Okay, so this
by the time
is just to
protect the soil, to keep it till when we return, and that the soil is okay, nothing has affected it, dryness has not affected it. We're going to go through the Harmattan period.
Yeah.
That's even if we have the Harmattan this year, 2020.
Temitope Okunu is a member of the Recyclers Association of Nigeria and United Nations Global Forum on Food Security and Nutrition. Her foundation has trained and empowered more than 7,000 youths in creative environmental health and sustainable waste management strategies in Western, Southern and Eastern Nigeria. Her foundation has collaborated with many international and local organizations in implementing environmental projects of the Sustainable Development Goals in Nigeria. Her personality, attitude, achievements, and indeed her life successes is accredited to the fact that once she can think it, she will achieve it with hard work.
That was an interesting one there. But when we come back, we'll take a trip to Kebbi State to see how farmers are trained on how to use sustainable solutions to grow their crops and boost their farm yields.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV station of the year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Wheat has become one of the most important agricultural commodities in Nigeria today. The nationwide demand for low-cost, convenient, staple and baked foods are increasing demand for wheat products. Nigeria's total local wheat production last year was about 200,000 metric tons, which was lower than expected due to harsh weather conditions and poor seed varieties available, making Nigeria's local wheat production grossly insufficient to meet demand.
First and foremost, you know that wheat is a very important food security and income security crop. It plays an important role in the household economy of smallholder farmers, and it plays a very huge political economic role in the life of a nation. I can tell you that 90% of our local wheat demand are gotten from importation, and this is spelling a big doom for our economy. So this scheme is one of the initiatives of the PROACT project funded by the European Union and in partnership with the Flour Milling Association of Nigeria to correct that wrong. So what we're doing is, how do we bring about practical solutions to stimulate domestic production of wheat in a sustainable manner? How do we bring in solutions that will support smallholder farmers to achieve increased productivity of wheat in a sustainable manner? And how do we facilitate the coming together of smallholder farmers and the private sector? So that is why we brought in the Flour Milling Association of Nigeria to come and work together with smallholder farmers, as a proof of concept that wheat can sustainably and productively be produced in Nigeria to take care of all our local demand.
As part of efforts to improve food nutrition security and resilience of vulnerable households in disaster and conflicts affected communities in Adamawa and Kebbi states of northern Nigeria, Oxfam, in partnership with Development Exchange Center with funding from the European Union, is implementing a pro-resilience action for food security and resilience in northern Nigeria. Its major components are to enhance the productive capacities of smallholder farmers and facilitate private sector linkage for them in a sustainable manner.
Yeah, seeds are a really important component of achieving good yields. For the 200 farmers that are part of this program, together with Oxfam, we have provided high-yielding seedlings of a Norman variety, which has been released by the Lake Chad Research Institute here in Nigeria, has shown in research settings to have yields of 5 to 6 tons per hectare. So we're trying to make sure that farmers plant these seeds on time and have the proper agronomic training to also see those yields. We are also contracting seed production with 3 seed companies, with Rahama, Premier, and Greenspore Agric, to produce, again, these Norman variety of seeds that are good for making bread. Additionally, we have a research station that we've set up in Jigawa to look at new varieties of seed from research institutes around the world, particularly CIMMYT and ICARDA from Mexico, from Sudan. So we hope that these seeds that we are testing will be able to be released to farmers over the next few years and help to improve yields. Well, currently, Nigeria imports about 5 million tons of wheat every year. So that's about 99% of consumption is imported. So 5 million tons of wheat is at least $1 billion, $1 billion to $1.5 billion, depending on global prices. So it's truly a very important foodstuff for the country. Bread, pasta, semo, noodles, all of this comes from wheat. And as we see more people moving to the cities, there's more and more demand for wheat-based food products. It's a good source of protein for people as compared to cassava or yam, but most of it is imported. And so we're trying to see how can we produce more of this locally. And the only way that happens is if farmers see higher yields and see that this is something that makes sense for them.
Through the PROACT project, 200 smallholder farmers were linked to Flour Milling Association of Nigeria for the purpose of promoting increased wheat productivity in the country. The scheme also aims to facilitate rapid improvement in the livelihood, resilience, and economic recovery for smallholder farmers in Kebbi State, who were badly hit by COVID-19 pandemic and further aggravated by the recent flooding incidents in the state.
You know, we talk about the land use trilemma. Now there is a struggle between three forces. One is for food production, which is gotten from the land. Another one is for environmental conservation, which is also a function of how you use the land. Another one, of course, is renewable energy. You know, how much of green energy can you divert, you know, into your production activity. Now, all of these revolves around education and awareness. So what we're doing in terms of investment is to create the awareness, is to train farmers on climate resilient agricultural practices, because we just have to adapt. Climate is changing. Apart from reducing our contribution to those factors leading to climate change, we also need to adapt to the changing climate, which is knowledge. So we are investing a lot in climate resilient practices, which will at the end of the day contribute to helping the environment to get preserved as we wanted. But more importantly also, we are holding government accountable. We are challenging governments to lead all the way in providing required resources, required conducive environment for climate resilient agricultural practices to thrive. So it's a collective effort, not just for development partners, not just for the private sector, like the Flour Milling Association of Nigeria, but collective effort required from all of us.
Aside from the learning opportunity for the wheat farmers towards improving their practices on wheat production, it offers an opportunity for the engagement between the farmers and the Flour Millers Association as a way to strengthen the linkage between them.
First and foremost, I thank the flour company for their kind gesture towards us, especially for the loan given to us for wheat farming. Apart from the loan, we were given 2 bags of fertilizer, 2 bags of urea, and a liter of insecticide, all for the purpose of farming. We were trained on the method to use, and now this is the beginning of the result. We are also taught on how to go about the farming system using the drainage and ridges method, which is easier and simpler. We are thankful for the loan and the seed that were given to us at a very low cost compared to market price. If you look around, you will see my farm, which I tried to work on based on the knowledge I acquired at the training.
In the meantime, the scheme hopes to improve the response capacity of government towards social protection, early warning systems, and strengthened local frameworks towards resilience building.
What is needed is to cash in on the right inputs and then provide good agronomic practices and then timely or target the weather appropriately, because it's a temperate loving crop, and after this you will have good output. The next thing, which was the missing link in the chain, was the offtake, and now flour mills have come up with this fantastic idea of trying to agree for a collaboration between them and the farmers, as was facilitated by Oxfam. Oxfam will say thank you very much.
In the last 4.5 years, ProAct has demonstrated possibilities of best practices in resilience building programming towards achieving food security and early recovery for people affected by different types of disasters.
Have you ever wondered the role vultures play in our environment? Curious to know, right? Watch this.
It has been 12 months since the outbreak of COVID-19, which has reshaped man's attitude to survival. Scientists say they are now close to finding the perfect vaccine for the virus from Wuhan, but the fatalities are still on the rise.
The truth is that at present, many places are witnessing very high transmission of the virus, which is putting enormous pressure on hospitals, intensive care units, and health workers.
And it appears there are two main concerns. A vaccine may be found, but how about the root causes?
Just the last 10 years, we can see 4 or 5 different episodes of pandemics, and the root cause was all because we have shrunk the space for wildlife. We brought human beings more in contact with wildlife. We are destroying the habitat for wildlife. Vultures play a big role in containing the spread of pandemics. They do that because they are one of, if not the most efficient scavengers in the wild. When an animal dies, within minutes, vultures can sense it because they have a keen sense of smell and sight, and they are at it. And within hours, they have cleaned it up right to the bone, and therefore not giving chance for germs to fester within those carcasses, and therefore saving us from that. If there are no vultures, then what is likely to happen is that the animal will stay there. Even if scavengers come, they will be inefficient scavengers like rats, stray dogs, and cats, who take days in order to decompose and clean up this animal. And within those days, germs have proliferated and they have gone into the soil and into the air and caused pandemics or epidemics.
But that natural cleanup function of vultures is largely going out of fashion in the ecosystem. The birds are hunted for illegal wildlife trade and traditional medicine. They're also disliked as harbingers of bad omen in several cultures. It is 1 year since the first case of the coronavirus was discovered in the Chinese city of Wuhan, sending a danger signal to world leaders and governments about the dangers of a neglected environment. More countries, notably the United States, are now coming to terms with the need to quickly join forces with the Paris Climate Accord to address the concerns raised in preserving and protecting the planet.
And this is important, particularly at this stage, because if you recall, this year was supposed to be a mega year for the environment. We were going to have a climate change meeting in November. We were going to have a biodiversity meeting in May, but the pandemic has moved all of those to next year. Now, with the United States back in reckoning, then we have hope that they will play a major role in this. And at this meeting, which has been postponed, which was supposed to take place this year, countries were expected to ramp up their ambition beyond the nationally determined contributions that they had in 2015. So with the United States out of it, it would have been shaky. Now that they are back, I think it's likely that we'll get a much more ambitious agenda.
At home, the Nigeria Conservation Foundation has unveiled its special vulture ambassadors, who will be saddled with the responsibility of making people understand the role of vultures in containing pandemics, even as these creatures are being hunted for illegal wildlife trade, out of which some species are recording as much as up to 95% decline.
Also, that some of the vultures, that when they poo, it's actually a powerful sanitizer. So you would think that because they land on carcasses, they are dirty, but their poo washes their claws and they are clean, they are sanitized.
I had to do some research to find out the values, the advantages of vultures to the society, and then I found out that this is something that we really need a lot of that education around here.
Although these Nigerian celebrities say they are ready to go the extra mile to achieve their objective, it remains to be seen how much this will achieve in addressing the knowledge gap in the public space, given the extremely negative cultural attitudes accorded to vultures in Nigeria.
And that's about it on today's show. Until I come your way next time, remember, together we can build a sustainable world. I'm Esther Omokwariola. Bye for now.